Now, I usually produce videos about drawing and painting for illustrating architecture. For this video, I want to start featuring some of the tech I use for my production. So I work with Windows-based computers for all of my work. All my 3 USB-A 3.1 Gen 1 with ratings of 5 gigabits per second have been utilized for my video recordings with the OBS, with an Elgato Wave 3 microphone, switching through 3 mice, 1 keyboard, 2 USB capture devices for my 2 Sony cameras, 2 USB web cameras, an Elgato Stream Deck to control my scenes and lighting, a USB UHS 2 card reader, and an external solid-state drive like a Thunderbolt 3 NVMe external drives. To accommodate these number of peripherals, I have utilized the TP-Link 7 USB-A port powered hub. The problem was I was getting issues of my cameras not being read at times due to probably overwhelming that one USB 3.1 Gen 1 port serving to connect the 7 port hub. So I started to look into the use of my spare Thunderbolt 3 port, which boasted of 40 gigabits per second speeds. I stumbled upon Orico's Thunderbolt 3 station from its direct online store in Lazada and found no reviews about it yet. It has been a week of using the Orico TB3 S3. So the TB3 S3 is very similar to Caldigit's TS3 Plus. The TS3 Plus is priced at $474 in my region, but the Orico TB3 S3 is half the price at around $220. Interestingly, Caldigit just came out with the TS4, a Thunderbolt 4 successor to the TS3 Plus, a week after I've ordered the TB3 S3. The Orico TB3 S3 is an aluminum 15-in-1 true Thunderbolt 3 desktop station dock with a 65-watt power supply and 1.5 braided Thunderbolt 3 cable. The station dock has a bluish-gray anodized finish. It offers 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports rated at 60 watts and 15 watts, 2 USB Type-C 3.1 Gen 2 at 10 gigabits per second, 1 USB-A 3.1 Gen 2 at 10 gigabits per second, 2 USB-A 3.1 Gen 1 at 5 gigabits per second, 2 USB-A Gen 2 at 480 megabits per second, a DisplayPort 1.4 which offers 4K 60Hz transmissions, an RJ45 GigE interface, SD and micro SD card slots, a 3.5mm jack for wired headphones and microphone combination, and one SPDIF or Sony Philip Digital interface for RCA connectors or fiber optic cable connection. Comparing it to Caldigit's TS3 Plus, which also offers 15 ports, has all 5 USB-A 3.1 in Gen 2 versus only 1 for the Orico in Gen 2. The Caldigit TS3 Plus has a UHS 2 for the SD card slot, which can do about 4 to 7 times the transfer speeds than the Orico TB3 S3. Has most of the ports in the rear, depending on how you see this as an advantage. Has rubber feet for both vertical and horizontal orientations versus the rubber feet for just the vertical orientations for the Orico TB3 S3, labeled text for all the ports in the TS3 Plus, a better, safer blunt corners for the TS3 Plus, as opposed to the Orico's very sharp ones. Now, I was really attracted to the Caldigit's TS3 Plus specs. However, the price difference was something. The region price was, again, $476, a whopping $186 added difference from the suggested retail price of $290 in their website, while the Orico was priced at around $220 with tax and delivery fees included. So the price was a very compelling factor why I got this instead of the TS3 Plus. So what about the compromises and how I have justified the Orico TB3 S3 as a good purchase? The lower 60-watt charging from the TB3 S3 is not a big problem since the Alienware laptop needs 240 watts charging from the factory charger to make full use of the CPU and GPU without draining the battery. Since I don't even have compatible USB-A 3.1 Gen 2 devices anyway that can achieve up to 10 gigabits per second speeds, the use of the USB-A 3.1 Gen 2 does not matter. So, as I have mostly USB-A 3.1 Gen 1 peripherals. As for the USB-C Gen 2 at 10 gigabits per second, the TB3 S3 has 2 compared to the Caldigit TS3 Plus having just 1 Gen 2 and 1 Gen 1 at 5 gigabits per second. Though I was really disappointed with the TB3 S3 SD and micro SD ports as not being USH 2 for faster file transfers, having to wait some 15 minutes to transfer 20 gigabytes of data versus under 3 minutes if it was UHS-2. I still have to rely on my trusty SanDisk UHS-2 USB card reader to transfer the expected 270 megabytes per second speeds. Most of the ports are situated in front of the TB3 S3, which is something I wanted as I often switch to different devices when needed. Having to rotate to face the rear to place in my USB-A and USB-C cables is not something I want to do often. I don't use any eGPUs for better graphics or daisy chaining 4K monitors as my Alienware laptop can handle those well enough. And then there are no rubber feet for the horizontal orientation of the TB3 S3. And since it has a convex design on 2 of its faces, it rocks like a rocking chair. Although Orico has advertised that it can work in the horizontal orientation based on the box cover. The rocking doesn't bother me though, but rather it has no traction while in horizontal orientation. Plus, a table surface could possibly scratch the anodized aluminum. This can be remedied with the placements of some silicone dots or some vinyl stickers. Design-wise, the sharp corners of the TB3 S3 are something Orico has overlooked. It's obviously dangerous if you drop it or hit someone's body parts with this. I find orienting it horizontally minimizes that danger. The lack of labels had me placing in my own and indicating the actual speeds of most of the ports. I just do this to all my devices so I don't get confused with which is what and what ratings or speeds they offer. Most laptops don't have labels on their ports anyway. Now, I have mentioned the Caldigit had just released their latest, the TS4, which is Thunderbolt 4, but still at 40 gigabits per second maximum data transfer speeds. At the time of this video release, TS4 stocks are sold out. The second batch will be out for March 2022. It costs $360 in retail pricing online, and guessing the price inflation in my region, if it would be offered in some months later, it would be some $540, which is about 2.4 times the cost of an Orico TB3 S3. The TS4 does improve and updates the specs from the TS3 Plus and TB3 S3, offering 18 ports than 15 and delivers up to 98 watts of charging for certain laptop that needs around 100 watts charging. Having the greatest will likely be the most expensive. Now, this is true with the Caldigit TS lineup being considered as the best and more advanced ports offerings. At around half the price of the Caldigit TS3 Plus, the TB3 S3 offers a compelling performance to price ratio to answer my immediate and medium needs for extra high-speed ports for my video and audio recordings. I would still consider getting a Caldigit station dock if the price in my region is not absurdly priced, nearly $200 more than the suggested retail price. Now, saving $200 while getting the most of the function of an available Thunderbolt 3 station dock is something to me. However, if you can get and afford a TS4 or at least a TS3 Plus, get those instead. But if you are as not fussy with the fact that the SD or micro SD card slots are not as fast like a UHS-2, no rubber feet for horizontal placement, sharp corners, no text labels, or your machine does not rely on 60-watt power delivery connection to power up your laptop on a single port, or just learn to mitigate these, get the Orico TB3 S3. So far, it has performed well enough to add extra fastest ports and finally utilize that single Thunderbolt 3 on my Windows gaming laptop to its fastest potential. So let me know, what do you think of the Orico TB3 S3 station dock? Are these compromises enough to deter you from getting this $220 Thunderbolt 3 accessory for your laptop or desktop computer? So let me know in the comments.